Hi, this is Paul Kinkowski with the Systems Conference, and I'm here with Andrew Smallwood from Second Nature. And I apologize, my voice sounds a little funny today. I have a little bit of the flu, but I'm so excited to be here with Andrew Smallwood. I've known him for a long time. He's a good friend of mine, and Second Nature is an amazing company. Andrew, can you give us a 30-second overview of what Second Nature is?
Absolutely, yeah. And thanks for having me, Paul. Great to be here. For those less familiar with Second Nature, Second Nature really works with scattered site property managers to help them deploy a fully managed resident benefits packages. And a resident benefits package, kind of like an employee benefits package, that there's great employers, big employers that offer a suite of different perks and benefits, for their employees to provide a great employee experience, to retain their best employees and attract great employees. I think the same way about a resident benefits package. This is something professional property managers do to attract great residents, to keep great residents, and it works as a profit center for the property managers. So we help people design, manage, and deploy.
So just to tell you a little history, I was one of the people that was early on with Second Nature, and they were very patient with me. It took me over a year to get my back then they were Filter Easy. It took me over a year to get my filter program started because I wanted everything to be perfect, and nothing ever can be perfect in anything we do. And when I finally did it, first off, it was a good chunk of change that my company made more. Second, my owners were happier because the filters were getting changed more regularly. We had a really good program. And when it first happened, I would have tenants that would complain. And I didn't believe in a residence benefits package. And I realized that I didn't do a good job explaining it. Once I believed in it, it was very easy. And the complaints went away. It was just like, it was really hard for me to get over that thing of, hey, we're going to have this thing that people are going to pay for. But when you realize it, when the hotel industry started it with, their nightly fees and stuff like that, some hotels you go to and you get a lot for it. They might give you a lounge, might give you water, you might get this. Some people charge these fees and residents don't get anything. With Second Nature, the residents do get a lot. They get credit that helps their credit rating. They get a program where they can win rewards with Pinata. They get filters delivered, which helps the owner and the tenant. So there's a whole slew of like 8 or 9 different things that the tenants get. So it does make it more valuable. And I already started taking fees that I had, like a renewal fee, and I added into my residence benefits package. And if tenants didn't renew 30 days in advance, well, then they still have that fee. But it was like, you have to believe in it. You have to show the tenant what the value add is. And in the end, it is something that you're doing to help make your company more profitable, which means that I could put more people on the phone lines, have people answer the phones directly, and I could get better customer service, which means I got more people, which means I didn't lose as many tenants. So you have to believe in it.
Yeah, that's so important. Well said, Paul.
So, I'm a big fan of Second Nature, and you guys are always one of the best companies at the events with just, you really care about the property management community, which is awesome. I know you've told me that's been a big philosophy, that you guys, not only do you want to give back to our community, that's part of Second Nature goals, correct?
Yeah, that's definitely part of the ethos. I think, property management is hard, and it can be a challenging business. It has tough moments, and one of the toughest things is that you're constantly in between residents and owners, right? And between their expectations, and in between their money, there's a lot of opportunities for getting caught in the middle. And so I think we just kind of recognize how hard it is and how thankless of a job it can be sometimes. And so our team, we've really fallen in love, with property managers, I would say, and helping them solve problems with their customers. And we want people to feel that appreciation. We want people to feel how we feel about them, and that we're in partnership with them to really elevate, what this industry does, what it provides to residents and investors, and as a great place to build a career, build a business. So
that's awesome.
I'm glad that's.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I do feel like you guys are a big help in our industry. What are some software that what's a key software that, this year we're concentrating on the systems conference, on technology, on software, on AI, on all those things that are just taking us to the next level, because property management and every other industry has changed a lot in the last year because AI has done a lot to change things. What's a software that is one of your go-to softwares that you guys use at Second Nature, in life, wherever you're at?
Yeah. And yeah, there's a couple examples here, Paul. I can think of a couple that, I'll try to think of a couple that are directly applicable that may make sense for a property manager to use as well. But, an interesting one on our website, and I think about our sales process is, today we've got Salesforce, which we use for our CRM, and people would come to our website to basically talk to sales or talk to somebody on our team to get started with us. People would refer, but they're like, hey, I know you're a property manager in San Diego and I'm in, Texas or whatever it might be. I don't know who your rep is, right? Because Second Nature's got a team all over the country. And so we installed a tool called Chili Piper, which I really like. And it's got an interesting, approach. When you come to the website, it actually scans our CRM. And so it'll figure out, hey, are you in there and already assigned to somebody, and route you to the proper person's calendar, right? As a result. So you get to the person with the info that you want. Maybe you've experienced this, Paul, but if I call a company and I'm talking to a 20-year-old SDR or whatever it might be, just to get to the sales rep who has the pricing and the information and everything that I want, how do I get routed to the right person, versus somebody in customer support or a front desk, whatever it might be. And so I think, there's an opportunity probably in property management as well, whether it's even a simpler tool like Calendly, but hey, can I get to, for the type of meeting that I want, quickly routed to the appropriate person on their calendar? And what we saw was, a 25% increase actually in conversion of leads right into our sales funnel, just by making it easy for people to get directly on the calendar versus submit a form, waiting for the sales team to outreach and reach back out to them, et cetera. So I think that there could be, whether it's Chili Piper or another similar tool, it could be an interesting use case for property managers who are trying to get more leads through the funnel.
And I have the Glenn tool, because Glenn is in my cell phone. So when I meet someone who needs Second Nature, I'm just like, Glenn, come over here and talk to this person. And he's like, they're not my area. I'm like, not my problem, Glenn. Come on over here and talk to the person. He's like, sure, I'll come over and talk to them, Paul. And then he introduces them. So that's what I use with Second Nature. When I'm at those events, he's in my cell phone. So it's easy to get Glenn. So as anyone who's been to these events probably knows who Glenn is.
That's right. Glenn is the best. Glenn rocks, and highly recommend anyone get to know Glenn. And yeah, for anybody else who's curious to see how the tool works, feel free to just go to secondnature.com and you can try it out and test it out and kind of see how it works.
See, and he's my rep. The reason I know him is because he's my rep, and the reps at Second Nature do a really good job of getting to know you personally. So Glenn is my rep.
That's right.
And that's why I know him so well. So if you're in Indiana, you're gonna have a great rep in Indiana. It's just not Glenn, but that person will be there. But again, that's where I think you guys do a really good job, is getting that that personal connection with the rep and that. And so even when there's a switch of reps, which I've been with you long enough that I've had a few reps switch, because not a lot of the reps are there for 10 years, and they did a really good transition. So but I like that idea that software sounds really cool. Do you have another software that you're really liking right now?
Yeah, it's definitely one that we use a lot is Slack, right? Internally across our team. And, one of the nice things about Slack is you can get things organized by channel. You can see whole threads. This is that. It's a little more conducive to certain types of conversations than email is. And we really keep all of our external communication in email, and really a lot of our internal communication and collaboration happening in Slack. And that's been a great tool just as an organization for us that I know some property managers are using as well. Do you guys use Slack, or have you seen that used?
Slack is definitely used at Pure. We back at PM Solutions Pro, David, my technology guy, he likes Slack. I personally was like, I already texted, I already got emails. I'm like, one more thing to look at, but Slack is really cool in a lot of ways. I just was like, please don't add another thing for me. But yes, Pure is very into Slack. And the other thing about you guys, what I want to say is, my company was about 250, 300 doors, right in that range. And I had great customer support. I went to Pure, We have $25,000, great customer support. You don't care if you have 50. I started with you guys when I had 50, 60 doors. Second Nature is going to help you out if you have 60 doors or thousands of doors. And that's the big thing. If you have 60 doors, they're going to like help you with the language in your contract. Hey, you should probably put this. They'll always tell you, go get it checked out by a lawyer. They have to. But they're going to help you so that when you send out that lease and you want to do that residence benefits package, they already can give you examples of here's 3 examples of companies that put it in their contract, and then you send it to your lawyer after you finish your lease, get it approved by your lawyer, and move on. It's really, really helpful no matter how many doors you have.
Yeah. It was funny. We recorded some testimonials, Paul, recently at a conference, and I'm like, did these property managers like talk to each other? Because out of like 7 of them or 8 of them that we recorded, 4 of them at some point, I'm like, hey, what's it like working with Second Nature? And they all said, it's the easy button. It's the easy button for RVP. Like in 27 days, I was up and running, and all it took me was like 3 phone calls after I got my contract. And you guys had the templates ready. You had from the lease to the marketing collateral to everything else. You took my logo, you made it all set up so it was really plug and play. And then ongoing, really managing all the fulfillment of services to a business outcome that the customer defines is really, really what we're known for. How do we make it feel Second Nature?
You also are really good at taking constructive criticism. Probably it was about 7 years ago, your accounting wasn't great on like how it would send it to us. And I remember I sent some emails very nicely, and my rep worked on it, fixed it, and it's a lot better now. That's what I love, is the companies that aren't like, oh, we're the best, we're going to do everything perfect. You guys aren't going to do everything perfect, because no property manager does everything perfect. But when your customers say, hey, can you make this easier? You guys are really out there to like, yeah, wow, we didn't think of it that way. You take feedback, you take, I don't want to say criticism, but you take constructive feedback and you make it better so that you have the product continues to get better. The product's not the same product I had 7-8 years ago. It is so different. Like I think now you're with Pest Share as part of you. I think you teamed up with Pest Share now. You teamed up with Citizens Home Solution. I mean, you were like standalone, and now you have quite a few companies, Pinata, quite a few companies that are part of your package.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, something that's interesting, Paul, it's like it's funny that you're saying that about accounting and 7 years ago, because actually a major initiative this year, like in 2023, has actually been our invoicing and accounting process. And it's so funny how property managers experience this, right? Like you grow to a certain number of doors, and some of the systems you created, right, as you scale and grow, it's like they don't support that next phase of growth. Like, okay, you fix things, et cetera. And then you get to a certain point, like, oh, like we need to really invest and focus on this. And so we've invested into multiple team members, into our finance team, and a whole new upgraded accounting and invoicing system. It's been a big corporate initiative this year. We've been really focused on, and it's really exciting to see that just over the last few months have a dramatic impact on the accuracy and scale for the years ahead. But yeah, we really, I mean, I would say something we appreciate about the PM community is that we get that feedback from customers. We want it to be true that every time you see Second Nature, you see a better version of Second Nature. Like you were saying, whether that's in our product, whether that's in our service, in our support experience, that's a company core value that we have, is really that growth mindset and how we're to improve.
And I also, with your company, which you have a really good company culture, a really good across the board. If you talk to Thad, anyone from Second Nature, you're going to get a similar experience. Thad is the founder of Second Nature, one of the founders, and you talk to him, and you don't even know he's the founder because he's just so humble and nice and personable. I mean, I always say, right before COVID, I went mountain biking with them, and then I'm like, what do you do for Second Nature? And he's like, I'm the CEO. And I'm like, oh, I just thought you were a sales rep. Like, I did not know. I mean, and that's the great thing, is like everybody within your company. I mean, so the new people, you can tell they're new because you haven't seen them at the conferences, but like everybody in your company, whether it's Bob Hansen or who it is just such a good group, and it doesn't feel like there's this hierarchy system. It feels like you're all one to help out us.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it feels that way. That's definitely our goal, to feel like, hey, this is a team, and a team I get a consistent experience from, for the benefit of customers, that they're seeing people they like, that they want to have a good relationship with, and people that are passionate, people that are energetic, people that are, that really, really care, sincerely want to make a difference is what we want to see. I'm curious, Paul, like when you think about systems and you think about like people systems, so like part of that could be like your hiring, part of that could be like your team training and performance management, things like that. What are the kind of, like, is that a topic that comes up at the PM Systems Conference?
It should. And I think that would definitely be something we need to add for 2024, because I will tell you right now, the biggest problem when I used to do I had PM Solutions Pro before I sold off my hiring event, is I found that people from other countries fail all the time. It was the same companies that had them fail, but they had such horrible systems. So the systems we work on are making you more organized. If you're more organized, your people are going to do their job easier. But there also is a system of culture, a system of expectations. So within the first week of my company, we didn't know if you were going to make it, like if you're going to do your work. We knew if you were part of our culture, if you're part of what makes House Match, when I had House Match, part of House Match. And that was that you didn't have to be micromanaged in the sense that, like, if you said you're going to be back in 15 minutes, you'd be back in 15 minutes. If you said you're going to, we were very open about, you have a kid's soccer match, you go to your kid's soccer match, you do that, but you make up your work. And we didn't want to have to check you that you did make up your work. And so, but if you were, I don't want to say dishonest, but we want to give you a long area of basically so that you get your job done. So I do think that's where second nature, when I look at it, you guys work really, really hard at events. You work really hard in every day. I hear from you people that they say, oh my gosh, it's just like a big party with you guys. And they're like, we work really, really hard, but you also really have a lot of fun. Whether it's going to Costa Rica or doing, all the different events you do, you work hard, you play hard, and you seem like you're a good group. And that is a system. You have to work at that. That is a hard thing to work at. You don't just get that by saying, hey, we're gonna be like this with our employees. You have to come up with your goals. These are our 8 goals. These are our employee visions, our values, whatever it is. And when you make decisions, you have to say, is this part of our employee values? Is this part of our values as a company? And so many people put values on the wall, but they don't live by them. They put them there. The CEO doesn't live by them because I'm CEO, I don't have to. If you're Thad, you got to live by the same CEO that everyone else has to. And that's where I think that you guys do a good job at.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, and thinking of culture as a system and something that you intentionally drive and something that you intentionally influence towards the outcomes you want. How that guides an organization. It's a powerful thought.
You guys will have a session inside the vendor room, and I think a really cool idea would be that you guys would run a session on how you basically employee relations, how you create it. I think that would be a great session, because I do think as a company you do have a unique way of making employees happy, and I would love to see that. So if you guys could do something on that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's something that we measure too. So on a regular basis, we're actually so many people have heard of like satisfaction scores and NPS scores and measuring that with customers. And maybe if I'm a property manager and I'm like, I've got 150 units and I've got, 1 or 2 employees, perhaps maybe that's a lower priority, to do that kind of thing with a smaller group. But at Second Nature, with hundreds of employees and partners that we work with, that's something that we consistently measure and monitor. And we are thinking about taking that feedback of, okay, what can we do to continue to improve here? Like you were talking about before. So we think about, hey, what's our customer experience? What's our employee experience? And how do we make sure we're setting things up in the right way?
But I think if you set it with 150 employees, it's really easy to keep that set when you have 12 employees. If you start early, then it's going to be easy. Like it came in the thing like, remote employees will be on videotape, and that was one thing a lot of companies started doing, so that that they wanted to include the remote employees, put them on a screen, no noise, but just so you could see, they're doing something else. Well, that wasn't one of my company policies for the first 4 years. So it was really hard to implement it because people were like, no, this is an invasion of my privacy. But if we would have done it from the beginning, early on when we had 2 employees, it would have made it so much easier. It would have made it, this is your office space in your house. We're not trying to micromanage you, but if I see, you're typing something or you're on the phone, I'm not going to call you because I can see that, look up the screen, see you're on the phone, and then I'll wait and you hang up the phone, then I'll call you. It was more to make it so it was an easier work environment. I know a lot of people switched to that, and anyone with less employees, I would highly suggest it. I never was able to implement it completely. But so those are the great things, like you said, with the younger, with less people. But you guys have been at the Systems Conference multiple years. I know that you are been a great sponsor for us, and we really appreciate that. And you always, I know that the people need to know if they want to register for this conference. We have 36 tickets left, I think, somewhere in that range. Second Nature Rocks will get you $100 off with a capital S. Go and register now. It is going to be an amazing event. I semi-retired in June, and this has been like my focus. I went down to Guadalajara last weekend working with the team there, spent 3 days working on this. Just not only is the daytime activities we're going to have with all different speakers, but the nighttime activities, anyone who's been to our nighttime activities, they're a blast. They are the most fun. The bingo bowling, the dice tournament, the Bob Hansen dice tournament. Bob Hansen started that whole thing by his crazy game that he's had people playing till 4 in the morning, and then the tournament doesn't go to 4 in the morning. I'll tell you now. I made it so it's a charity tournament, very different than what Bob Hansen did, but I took his idea. And so Bob Hansen, hopefully he'll be there in January so he can see his inaugural dice tournament again.
His legacy continuing. I just want to say, Paul, we are so proud to sponsor this event. I just want to say a couple reasons why we feel that way specifically about this event. Something I really appreciate about what the Systems Conference does differently than other events you'll see out there. A lot of events are designed, it's like a lecture format, and it's all about information, right? And what I see about the Systems Conference is it's about transformation. We are rolling up the sleeves, we are getting work done, you are getting momentum. Before you even leave the event, you've got momentum where you feel like you've gotten value, right, from the event fast. And that's what we hear consistently from property managers that go to this event. It's not, I have a long to-do list that I'm gonna pick 2 things to get to. It's here's things I've already got done and in progress, and I can see what the next steps are as I'm leaving. Being able to do that and the kinds of conversations and collaboration that happens across the group, the great networking and great social, relationship building that happens there. A lot of those things continue beyond the conference. $100 off is great because it's already an amazing deal for what it is. And we're really excited to see people there and help them get the most out of the event.
Awesome. Well, we are excited. Hopefully, I don't know who you're bringing from your team this year, but I'll be excited to see whoever it is that comes out there this year. And I would love whoever comes on your team, let's talk about doing something about culture, when you want your things, because I think that would be how I know people like Chris Molinex, who has 40 employees out in Indiana. That would be really good for him. And Tiffany Rosenbaum, who's in Arizona, who has a lot of employees. We have a lot of small companies, 25, 50 doors, 100 doors, 200 doors. We also have a lot of big companies that come to this, 1,000 doors, 1,200 doors. Pure usually sends someone with 20-something thousand doors. So we get a whole range of, it doesn't matter if you have 10 doors or you have 1,000 doors or 5,000 doors. You're going to learn something. If you don't learn something in property management, then you're not trying. Because I will never say I know everything in property management, because I won't, because everybody has a better idea than me. And the great thing about these conferences, it's all about not stealing, it's giving. We give ideas, and then you go and you do it in your property management. And you will do it while you're there. So when you go back to your staff, which I always say bring your staff with you too, some of the people that are important. When you go back, you already have it done. And so you're not sitting there going, I'll get to that someday, because that someday never happens.
Yeah, there's a lot that gets lost in that gap right there of the information and activating it and getting it in motion. I love how you approach that. It makes sense to bring a couple people from your team there to help.
Yeah.
get the momentum and everybody's going in the same direction. I like that.
I think Julie from CRM Properties brings like 6 people. So, and they actually have a goal before they go, what they're going to accomplish, and they accomplish it.
Love that.
So,
love that.
It was awesome talking to you, Andrew. I will definitely good to see you, and I can't wait to see you either at the Systems Conference or the next event I'm at.
All right, Paul. Sounds good.
Have a good day. Bye.
Take care.